Shalom, shalom to the nation of Israel. First and foremost, before I get into my lesson, I want to start off by giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Secondly, double honors to the apostles and bishops and elders of Great Millstone that teach and that rule well today. And salutation also to the fellow laborers that's in the ministry and the believers that scatter worldwide in all truth and sincerity, day in and day out. Once again, I'm the brother Shaquat Gabar, coming at you with another quick lesson. And right before I get into this lesson, this message or these videos goes out to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which we are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites according to the Bible. And also to the Israelite foreigners that scattered amongst the heathen nations, and they may take on the physical appearance or look of another nation. But if your bloodline goes back to Negro, Latino, or Native American descent by the seed of your father, you are considered an Israelite as well. Shalom. So basically, you can see, I got this article queued up on the screen, which is off of Minnesota Reformer, .com. And you can see the headlines: hundreds protest ICE other federal law enforcement's action in Minneapolis. Because this was going on lately. When it comes to mainly, when it comes to the ICE organization, military form. When it comes to this government here in America, Donald Trump, which is the current president at this time, already passed executive orders, for deportation when it comes to legal immigrants or migrants. And mainly they're going to focus on you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Especially in particular at this time, the Northern Kingdom, which happen to be Hispanics, Latinos descent. When it comes to this whole deportation and ICE, illegal immigrants, that don't cross the border, come into America and don't have legal documents to prove that they're American citizens. And what ironic, when it comes to the for the past couple of years during the time of Biden regime, administration, they allowed the borders to be open, have people to come over here, illegal migrants as they say, but the thing about it, it wasn't just only Hispanics, Latinos, tribes that came up from Mexico and Central America and South America, into the States. But you have migrants from China, Korea, Europeans, Ukrainians, etc. But the focus ain't on them. The main focus is on the Northern Kingdom, man. Like I said, those that migrate up here from Central and South America. And the reason why, because you Hispanics and Latinos are Israelites, man. And we're in a time now that the Lord about to sharpen the sword, which is Esau Edom. Which Esau Edom blessing is the sword. And it's coming in the time of his military might. If you don't know by now. But one thing about you simple Negroes, Negroes too, but you simple Hispanics and Latino tribes, they starting to get they nigger wake up call. I say it like that because for years the Hispanics and Latinos, discriminate against the so-called blacks, which we know, the division amongst the tribes, but when it comes to the Hispanic tribes, the Latino tribes, they really think that they're gonna be in good case with the so-called white race, trusting in this government, trusting in the system. Okay, hell, majority of them think they white. Okay, which possibly, a good bit of them are. Okay, because you have a lot of tears. Okay, amongst the Hispanics and Latino tribes, where Esau Edom mingle in. Okay, which would make them heathens. Okay, Edomites. Okay, but when it comes to the average Hispanic and Latino who bloodline actually go back to Israel, okay, they feel like, they got opportunity here, okay, but now they about to see, they fit the curses as well, okay, when it comes to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 16 through 68, okay, and so now, and the Lord is visiting the northern kingdom, okay, which a lot of them are involved in all type of wickedness, okay, a lot of the northern kingdom, especially the Hispanics and Latino tribes, okay, they're into Roman Catholicism, okay, they're into Christianity, okay, serving these false gods and idol worship, okay, they denying the truth, okay, that they Israelites or still believing that who the world called God is a so-called white man, okay, who the world called Christ is a so-called white man, okay, and that's why 2/3 gonna be judged, according to Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8, okay, when it comes to the Hispanics and Latino tribes, and right along with the the southern kingdom, which happen to be so-called Negroes, okay, when it comes to the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, okay, because the Lord gonna set Esau Edom up through the Spirit to come against all tribes, man, okay, and you just had the FBI task force, and it's a that's going to be an executive order to deploy a FBI task force over there in Memphis, okay, which primarily majority of them are dark skin or Negroes, okay, but you got a lot of Native Americans amongst them, okay, Elder Mawap Dazak brought that out, okay, the elder from GMS Los Angeles branch, okay, he did a video on it about a week ago about the the task force being deployed in Memphis, and they say due to the crime rate, okay, when it comes to the murders and all that, okay, and he also did a video yesterday going into how ICE raid a certain restaurant. I think it over there in California, okay, like San Diego, okay, but now ever since Trump has pushing more force, okay, no armed force by the way of ICE, okay, Edomites, man, it's on the road now, man, okay, that sword is being sharpened, okay, and now they're gonna paint the image that the narrative that the Negro, Latino, Native Americans, okay, are the new face of terrorism, criminals, okay, and majority of our people give them a reason, okay, when it comes to the stereotype, okay, but this is the Lord will, okay, they show you Negro, Latino, Native Americans that we still in captivity, okay, and that Esau Edom is our enemy, okay, and the Lord had the prophets out there giving that forewarning, okay, when it comes to the elect, eventually, the hopeful elect, the number that we're striving to be part of, okay, when it comes to the prophets out there, okay, on the highways and byways, okay, because on the elect is going to be delivered, okay, the 144,000 and the 1/3, okay, that's a so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American descent, okay, start with the prophets out there giving that warning, man, and we giving that forewarning, telling you tribes to repent, okay, acknowledge your sins, and come back and acknowledge Yahweh Shema Shai, your true power, and your heritage in the times that we about to enter into. Okay, but majority of our people, they're not going to take heed. Okay, therefore, nothing going to be left for them but judgment as we're approaching Jacob's trouble. Okay, so let me go ahead, read a little bit. I'll probably read, first paragraph, and that'll be it. get into some scriptures, and that'll be the lesson. But once again, this off of Minnesota Reformer, okay, .com. And it says 100 protest ICE other federal law enforcement's action in Minneapolis. Okay, so this was yesterday, June the 3rd, 2025. Okay, and it says federal law enforcement's officers raid a Minneapolis taco restaurant on Tuesday morning. And so they already show you the taco restaurant. Okay, so you already know that mostly, when it comes to, when it comes to tacos, that's a custom, okay, for mainly the Northern Kingdom, especially when it comes to the so-called Mexicans, okay, which are the tribe Issachar, okay, known for, tacos, case, what do you call it, when it comes to Mexican food, I say, tacos, and I eat Mexican food, so and then quesadillas, and that's the stereotype they push: tacos, quesadillas, beans, rice. Okay, Esau, he'll talk about Issachar and their food, but if you go to certain Mexican restaurants, they be the main ones in there eating. Okay, but let me get back into the the lesson, or getting more moving forward with the lesson. And it says federal law enforcement officers raid a Minneapolis taco restaurant Tuesday morning, sparking protests from immigrants' rights activists and neighbors. Okay, so they show you, man, the Lord turning things up when it comes to the tribes, man. Okay, when He allowed Esau Edom, okay, to come with his forces, man. Okay, because it's going to be the time of civil unrest, race wars, martial law, detention centers, strict draconian measures. Okay, and we're coming to them points now. Okay, all the times now. And it says, officers wearing uniforms of immigration and custom enforcements, okay, ICE, okay, U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration. Now you already know when it comes to these Northern Kingdom tribes, okay, that come across the border, they already label them as drug pens and cartel, okay, which Esau Edom funding and all that. Okay, but once again, they got to have the control of the narrative to have a reason to bring more strict legislations when it comes to deportation and force. Okay, soon to be lethal force. Okay, so this says U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, Minneapolis Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff Office, the FBI, and the Criminal Investigation Arm of the IRS surrounding Los Cotoro Malpass on East Lake Street. Yeah, so they had to bring all those enforcements together, man. Okay, show you Esau Edom hatred for the tribes, man. Okay, it's gonna be war on the tribes, man. Okay, ain't like with which a lot of these Jakes, when I say Jakes, so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, okay, they known for always they can having guns and stuff, but who applied them? Okay, it is this government. Okay, they set up certain gang members or cartels or gun trafficking, okay, to bring guns over here or give guns to American citizens, especially when it comes to the Negro, Latino, Native Americans, when it comes to gun violence. Okay, hey, but more than anything, it'd be our people that murdering each other, man. Okay, but look at the forces they had to come with. Okay, and these people ain't doing this a restaurant. Okay, it ain't like no war breakout or a skirmish. Okay, they been at a restaurant and they raided a restaurant with heavy forces, man. Okay, show you the times that we in. and show you the strong dislike that Esau Edom have for us, the Israelites, man. Okay, let me see. So so this is going into it. Had a little, little skirmish, but it ain't been to the point that they got, been that you had these Northern Kingdom armed, okay, or been a threat. But Esau Edom came in as that, okay. They came in with their forces, okay, their weapons, okay, their army fatigues, their military gear, okay. And this is just the tipping point, okay. Ain't even got crucial yet, as we're about to enter to the time of Jacob's trouble, man. Okay, when there's full-blown martial law, okay, detention centers, surveillance, checkpoints, okay, the implementation of the RFID micro, okay, which is the RFID micro going into the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. Okay, that's going to play a part into surveillance, biometric, tracking. Okay, it's not just going to be about buying and selling. Okay, and so all the enforcements they came with. Okay, to come against Jake, okay, or the Northern Kingdom, just to raid a restaurant. Okay, and like I say, since Trump don't passed the executive order when it comes to ICE, when it comes to deportation, we're in the times that they these executive orders playing this role. Okay, Trump talking about sending people to Guantanamo Bay and El Salvador prisons. Okay, there's another one like a prison island, but in San Francisco. Okay, so we in these times, man. Which all of it is the will of Yahweh Shemel Shai on the 2/3 of the wicked of you tribes, man. Because eventually they're gonna come after all of us, man. But Yahweh Shemel Shai gonna be the protection of the elect. Okay, but I'm gonna start off with Ezekiel chapter 21, verse 9. Son of man, prophesy and say, "Thus say the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai," and that's what we're doing in the form of prophesying. Okay, the Lord have His men out there on the highways and byways, and His word being published on the internet. Okay, but majority of our people, they're not going to take heed. Okay, they're ready to scoff, scorn. Okay, come against the truth, being non-believers. Okay, it says, "Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus say the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai, a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sword slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth?" And that's majority of our people. Okay, here the Lord sharpened the sword. Okay, in the form of Esau Edom. Okay, once again, Esau blessing is the sword. And in this time is military form. Okay, so it's being sharpened when it comes to these enforcements as ICE. Okay, Homeland Security, FBI Task Force. Okay, it's gonna be militia groups. Okay, and the average American Edomite that have the sword, which is the modern day guns. Okay, because it's gonna be race wars. Okay, and you already see the average Edomites that for Trump or pro-America, as they have the mind frame. Hey, we got to get rid of these migrants, these immigrants. And they the one bringing the crime rate up and taking all the jobs. Okay, and the majority of them over here don't have legal document. Okay, so it's showing you that we coming to the time more and more division. Okay. And it says, verse 10, "It is sharper to make a sword slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth?" And that's majority of our people. They like to be in the spirit of mirth. Okay, when it comes to these tribes, man. Okay, you just not had what Mayo with Cinco de Mayo. Okay, last month. Okay, May the 5th. Okay, that's a known Hispanic or Latino holiday they like to celebrate. Okay, Because the northern kingdom, they like the party too. Okay, right along with the so-called Negroes, the southern kingdom. Okay, they known to, our people known to always partying. Okay, going out to bars and clubs and gathering, being in the spirit of mirth. Okay, but in the meantime, the sword is being sharpened. And Yahweh Shema Shah had the prophets out here to give that warning, man. Okay, that a lot of people are into all type of distractions. Okay, the latest trend, the latest entertainment, the latest folly. Okay, and it says, continue on, and it says, should we then make mirth, it could tempt the rod of my son as every tree, and he have given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. The sword is sharpened, and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. Okay, so Yahweh Shema Shai, okay, give the power to Esau, Edom. Okay, when it comes to blessing of the sword, man, and meaning it's going to come against the tribes, man. Okay, all these nations over here in America gonna feel it. Okay, even their own Edomite counterparts and these heathens that's over here, because these elites want an NWO. Okay, and they want to bring order out of chaos. Okay, so it's going to be on clash wars. Okay, civil unrest. Okay, but mainly Yahweh Shema Shah focus on the tribes, because salvation and repentance is only for Israel, and like I say, only the elect is gonna be delivered at this time. Okay, gonna be covered. Okay, because eventually this place gonna be destroyed by the way of thermonuclear fire at the peak of the Third World War, and who the world called Christ, Yahweh Shai of Mashiach, going to return by the way of the chariots and to deliver the elect from out of that destruction. Okay, when I say the chariots, going to the so-called UFOs, okay, or the vehicles of the angels, and Yahweh Shai is only going to deliver the remnant from out of the destruction. Okay, out of the time of Jacob's trouble. But for the 2/3, they're going to get caught up in different various judgment of the Lord, and martial law is going to be one. Okay, being destroyed by Esau Edom on sword, his military might, okay, is going to be one. Okay, you're going to have tribes, okay, being judged by the way of pestilence, famine, okay, race wars, Third World War, okay. It's a lot for that. So we be coming in them times, man. Okay, those that take the implementation of the RFID micro gonna be destroyed, according to Revelation chapter 14, verse 9, by the way of the missiles. Okay. Verse 12, and it says, cry and howl, son of man. Okay, once again, that's what the Lord doing through the Spirit, by the way of the prophets out there. Okay, as we out there teaching and giving warning by the way of the internet, by the way of the videos, man. Okay, cry and howl, son of man, for it shall be upon my people. It shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Because once again, salvation is only for Israel. And at this time, the elect. Okay, these heathen nations ain't no salvation for them. Okay, they're going to be judged. Okay, starting with these average American Edomites on down to these heathen nations that's over here. They're going to be judged right along with 2/3. Okay, and once the kingdom is established, okay, the future for these heathens is going to be captivity. Okay, starting with the elites of Esau, Edom. Okay, the central bankers and the rest of the heathen nation that remain. Okay, after the second coming of Yahweh Shai, okay, their future is they're going to go into captivity. And the average American heathens or Edomites, starting with them, they perish on the side, they're going to come back in the kingdom through their bloodline being servants, okay, which is reincarnation. Okay, but you're going to have the 2/3 that perish on the side, they're going to come back in the kingdom being the sons and daughters of the elect, and they're going to inherit righteousness. Okay, but the point is, because I don't want to go all over the place. Okay, I want to try to stick to the point, okay, of this lesson, that the sword is being sharpened, man. Okay, and it says, cry and howl, son of man, for this shall be upon my people, it shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Terror by the reasons of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite therefore upon the thigh. Okay, and so we're giving that warning. Let me get this. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 5. And it says, Isaiah chapter 10, verse 5, O Assyrian, the rod of my anger, the staff that's in thy hand is my indignation. And so the modern day Assyrians, okay, or the spiritual Assyrian, or these Edomites, okay? And the Lord set them up to be the staff at this time in his hand as his indignation. The word indignation going to righteous anger, okay? And they're coming in the form of martial law, okay? And the various enforcements that they already got set to come against the tribes, man. And it says, I will send him against a hypocritical nation, against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil, to take the prey, to tread them down like the miry of the streets. Yeah, so that's going to Esau, Edom, and foreign troops as well. EU troops, NATO, okay? They're going to have their troops over here, Russian troops, Korean troops, Chinese troops, okay? But Esau, Edom leading the pack, man, okay? When it comes to the Lord's sword, okay? And it says it's going to take a spoil, man, okay? Casting people out of their houses, their homes, okay? Rounding people up at their jobs or out and about, okay? You seeing ICE doing now to the Hispanics, Latino tribes, okay? When it comes to this whole deportation and illegal immigrants, okay? They raid that restaurant, okay? That taco restaurant, they say, in Minneapolis, okay? They spoil, okay? To take the prey and to tread them down like the miry of the street, okay? So that's going to be the Lord's judgment, okay? Matter of fact, let's get this. And I'll get ready to close because I don't want to make this video too long. 2nd Esdras chapter 16, verse 70. And it says, For there should be in every place and in the next city a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Trump, about a month ago, passed the Insurrection Act. Okay, insurrection make I believe it's the meaning of it is uproars of the people, sedition. Okay, when it comes to the citizens coming against the government. Okay, and so they already got the stage set for martial law. Okay, for there should be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Okay, you Israelites, you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, there should be like madmen sparing none, but still spoiling, as they go spoiling again, and destroying those that fear the Lord. Yeah, you Israelites. So how about you, I'm going to put the spirit on these elites, okay, and down to the lesser luminary ones when it comes to their enforcements, okay, in the form of martial law, okay, ICE, Homeland Security, certain task force, okay, and that's going to be the spirit of the Lord, okay, once again, the sword, okay, of Esau, Edom, and they're going to be like madmen sparing none, okay, when it comes to the tribes, man, okay, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses, okay, that's what you're going to have the time of concentration camps, detention centers, reprogramming, okay, facilities, checkpoints, and the coming of curfews, travel bans, the digital ID, that's all going to tie into that RFID micro, okay, surveillance, okay, smart cities, okay. It says, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and there shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Yeah, eventually the Lord going to deliver the elect, okay, through those trials and tribulations. And that's the number that we're striving to be part of. And allotted, if we allot it, the Lord will to go through it. Okay? Those fire adversity, trials. Okay, that Lord going to eventually be with us elect. Okay? And it's going to be by the Lord putting the spirit on the elect. Okay, us are the hopeful elect to endure, okay, through faith, man. And it says, hear, O ye my beloved, say the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Yeah, the days of trouble, Jacob's trouble, Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7, okay. But the Lord said he's going to deliver, okay, the elect at that time, okay. Isaiah chapter 59, verse 19, going to when the enemy shall come in as a flood, okay, going to Esau, Edom troops, he going to lift up a standard, okay? He shall lift up a standard. And that's going to be by the way of spiritual intervention, man, okay, divine intervention, okay, miracles, okay? A certain men of the Lord going to get spiritual power, okay? Or the Lord going to have this, through the Spirit to guide, okay, the men, women, and children of the elect, okay, through Jacob's trouble, okay, in the time of adversity, okay, when there's lawlessness, anarchy, okay, food shortages, EMP attacks, okay, and the Lord says servants going to eat and servants going to drink, rejoice, okay, through those trials and tribulations, okay, through those adversities, okay, and it says, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for your God or your power, Yahweh Shema Shai, is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, say the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Okay, so Yahweh Shema Shai is going to be the protection for the elect. Okay, and that's the number that we, hopefully that we are, okay, striving to be part of, us that's involved in this faith, okay, and in the ministry, man. Let me see, okay, so this the time now, okay, for you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans that come across the Hebrew Israelite videos, okay, especially the men of Great Millstone, and they scoff, they scorn, okay, yeah, this the time now, man, okay, because the Lord will remove his prophets as well off the highways and byways when all hell breaks loose, and his word off the internet, okay, which is going to lead to the famine of the word, Amos 8 and 11, okay, and when all hell break loose and the Lord remove his men, that's when our people are going to seek, but then the Lord going to give them over to their judgment when it comes to the 2/3, man. So this is the time now, okay, those that still have access to the videos at this time and or know the nearest camp, and and when they see the prophets out there, they scoff, they scorn, or you got individuals that put the day of the Lord off, okay, thinking that they got time, okay, they're just gonna live it up for right now, and when they see things really about to get bad, then they might try to trying to take heed or be intrigued, okay. But let me get this, and I'll get ready to close. This is Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep. Yeah, sleep going to spiritual slumber. Because majority of our people still don't know their true inheritance and their true power. Okay? And it says, for now is our salvation nearer than what we believe. So our salvation is nearer than what we believe. And we know that by the way of the prophecies, man. Okay, or the signs of prophecies. Okay, measuring the times. Okay, 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. Okay, so knowing the time, it's high time to wake out of sleep. Okay, yeah, you got simple Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans that's not paying attention. Yeah, you got certain Israelites that know they're Israel, they're putting the day of the Lord off. That's in the spirit of mirth and being in the spirit of prosperity and being comfortable. Okay, for us that's in the faith, that which we know, us that's been called in the faith, hopefully chosen, we know the times that we're in, man. Okay, being circumspect. Matter of fact, let me get this and I'll get ready to close. This is Ephesians chapter 5, verse 14. Wherefore he said, awake thou that sleepest, arise from the dead, and Yahweh Shai shall give thee light. So once again, okay, those that going to return out of that spiritual slumber, okay, that spiritual dead, when it comes to not knowing the times that we're in, not knowing your true nationality and your true power, okay, but the elect is going to wake up, okay, which is Yahweh Shema Shai giving the elect the light to understand, okay, our inheritance, our power, in the times of the great judgment from our power, Yahweh Shema Shai, and preparing ourselves, okay, also the hopeful elect, See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Okay? Redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Okay? Because the days are evil, man. Okay? So you see this article. Okay, this is done but the beginning stages of it, man. Okay? But I'm going to go ahead and end the lesson here. And I pray that the lesson will edify. Till next time, Lord willing. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.